Welcome to Three Corner Table. This is a artistic document
Mm-hmm.
trying to make a new engagement in between contemporary artists, artists from other disciplines, and the community. So we call it Three Corner Table because you represent one corner, I represent the other corner, and the public who see in this video represent the other corner. So
Triangle.
it's a triangle
Flat.
and we call it Three Corner Table. So welcome. This is the third session of Three Corner Table, and it's a pleasure for me being here talking with you because.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So for me, it's a pleasure being with you today because you was the, let's say, the first ambassador to connect Nelson Gonzalez with St. Nicholas and with Aruba. So for me, this is a beautiful circle. Can you define yourself in the Aruban community as a contemporary artist, as a visual artist?
That's a difficult question. A
Yeah.
very can I find myself here? No. Up to this moment, let me see how I put it. My father, my grandfather, my father, and my mother, they raised me. They constructed me, and my mother bear me. And three things my father told me is your first three marriage papers is diploma, diploma, and the third is also diploma. And then afterwards you can look. Afterwards you can see if you're gonna get married or not. And I always kept that with me. My father and I it's like water and fire, but I learned a lot about him. I learned a lot from him, and he was also, in my eyes, an artist because he was every day creating, every day helping the community, and also within the strictness of my father, because of what I know now is because of his upbringing, and his last words to me was, I tried to put you on the right path and I didn't know better. I just tried. So I told my father, your path is your path and my path is my path. So I respect that. But I kept his power, his perseverance, his direct language, and his confrontation. All of those elements is what bring me to what I am now, and I respect and thank him for that. And we were really we are always in heavy fights, always judging me wrong. I was not the one who, if I say the truth, it wasn't for him, it wasn't truth. He believed outside the home instead of, and we were the inside, we were the liars. We were no good. We were like, is this the shit I made? And that is something me and my brother Marlon, rest in peace, he's 10 years younger than I was, is this the piece of shit I made? And I said, shit made shit. And my brother, after 10 years, no, let me turn it around. I was, because I'm radical, I got it from him. I'm very outspoken, direct, whether you like it or not, but I got it from him. So when he accused me for something, what I said, no, that is not so. He called me a monster because he thought that when I got my diploma in Holland I'm a medical analyst in microbiology. I didn't wait on my diploma. I just took the plane and I told the teacher said, okay, we're gonna send it to you, but go. And I was so proud that coming to Aruba, the first thing I wanted to let my mother and my father see, because he never believed in me, that I made it. And with my invisible diploma in my hand, there's a space between me and him, my father. And I came from Holland and I said, look, I made it, Daddy. I made it, Mommy. I made it, Daddy. You didn't believe in me, but I made it. And he said, made it, of course. How much years you were in Holland? You said 10, 15 years. Okay, so that was 15 years in the red light district. And then I spit on the ground and I said to my father for the first time, you see this spit, Mr. Heyliger, it means much more to me than you being a father. And with that, I was 34 years old, and with that, I'm standing, telling my father this, but my second friend, who's Glenda, that's my inner sister, was always bent down, double down. Her head was between her two legs. And she started coming up, raising up. And when she fit into the Glenda, before fitting in, I had to hold my ears, shut my ears, because 12 blackbirds on each side of my shoulders fly away. And I had, because of the noise and everything was coming out of my body, flying, birds flying away. And set into Glenda. And then I know this is me. And I said to him, he said, who's this monster? I said, monster made monster. I said, do you know what is my desire? To design your own coffin. And that was it. Then I had to run. But there was a machete by the garage and he was coming. And I told my mother, it was like an opera scene. And I told my mother, Ma, please hold my father, because one or both of us are going to be dead today.
That was the beginning. That was you come to close a circle.
Yes.
But right away you open a new one.
Yeah.
So we can say after this confrontation with your father, seeing yourself as a San Nicolásero, a woman made it possible, a degree in the Netherlands. So let's say, basically, let's say you come to close a circle, and right away was the motivation to open a new one.
Open a new, without I knowing. I met Glenda de Vries. Her mother was a teacher at the Graaf van Sinsendorf School, and she was looking for 6 Aruban models, to be her models, and she was at the Kunstacademie, the Royal Art Academy in Den Bosch, 's-Hertogenbosch. And it was her final exam, and I met Val, she was Gerda Dumfries, so we all hooked up together and we will be her models to present her bathing suit collection. And when we came into 's-Hertogenbosch, and I'm walking around and I'm looking at all their ideas, their books, the creative work, the paintings and all of that, and I go like, wow, how come we didn't know anything about that in Aruba? And I loved it. So I got interested, and at that moment when I lift up my head, I saw the director, the head of the academy, and I walked up to him and I said, I don't know nothing about painting, but my father always was creative, and I'm walking in his shoes and in his shadow, and I see this is something like binds me with my with my father and the creativity, and I love it. But and then he said, "Can you draw?" I said, "No." "Can you paint?" "No." "Oh, that's going to be a problem." "Do you have some? Did you do some?" I said, "Yes, I have little paintings to do." But childlike. He said, "Well, come back tomorrow and bring things what you have with you. Make things." So I made little sketches, very like a little child. And he said, with those child-like drawings, you definitely need lessons. But I like the child within you. And I was like, oh, okay. He said, all you have to do is focus. Be like your father, and just do it. It's like Nike, just do it. But what was it? Just go ahead. Believe in yourself.
He was making
just like a child, the head, and the clothes. You know how you do the clothes and you stick them on the. Just like that, I was painting, but there was something in it he saw, and
that was the beginning of Glenda Heyliger.
Yes.
In the Visual Art Academy.
Yeah, I went to fashion because the first year is multidiscipline, and then you could choose which direction. And I said, okay, I'm going to do fashion. And with fashion design, I met up with several haute couture guest teachers who really slam you down, especially the art academies. They slam you down, slam dunk, and don't get up. But because of my experience with my father, slam dunk, I keep on going. I keep on believing in myself. And I used to go to school, to the academy. I couldn't draw yet, but my ideas were very creative. I remember I took a garbage bag. Remember those yellow garbage bag from Holland? So, and there was a style with the puffbroek, like this, the puffbroek. So I just put elastic underneath, elastic here. I twist it and I put it like a short pants, but it's puffed. Yeah. I went to a second-hand store and I got Italian handmade uh, suit, the jacket, and with pinstripe. So I remember in class, if you want to know what's an Italian pinstripe suit, you have to measure the width between the two stripes. And if that width is the Italian measurement, then you really have the Italian Colbert jacket. And it was big, it was blue with pink stripe, beautiful. And I had my father's brown shoes, and I put on, I think I still had his socks, beautiful brown shoes. It was his wedding shoes. I went with them because I always walked in his shoes physically. And so it was too big, but I wanted to streamline, to set a curve, to fix it on my body. So I remember that my mother learned me this, they call it smokwerk. The babies always had these triangle holes in their dresses and the garments, but you have to knit it, and you get these triangles. And I apply that in the coat in the back so that it could fit. So my head was bald that time, long time ago, and I dressed with a Russian necktie, pale white bluish man shirt, and I put on the singlet underneath like my grandfather, and I put on the blue coat, and and a Russian necktie, red Soviet Union necktie, and I painted my face very well, and with this garbage bag skirt under it. So then you have this form, and then the puff, and then the blue nylon socks, nylon panties, but then with socks over it, and my brown shoes. That's how I walked in. And to see that, okay, it was the toelating, they were gonna accept me. But I came in with my childish paintings, my ideas, and they looked at me from head to toe, from toe to head, and they said, turn around. And the fashion designer told me, did you buy that jacket like that? I said, no. Oh, did you make it? Yes. Is it there or there? Yes. And the garbage bag? Yes. He said, you're in. And there's where I get into the fashion.
I think the people want to know more about all your international representations and all the places where you get the opportunity to show your work.
Okay, from when I was put into the spotlight, the 25 of us, we went to Dordrecht, and there I got, I came back to Aruba, and Liliana, the director of the Biennale in Cuba, was visiting Evelino and Elvis, and Evelino told her about my work and if she could see it. So Evelino called me, and I had a video of my final exam with the newspapers, and that was the autobiographical self-portrait, and it is I live with chaos and order. And Lilian, from the director of the Biennale in Cuba, looked at my video and my work, and she said to me, she was very serious, and I'm very nervous because she gave me a feeling that I I'm not good. And then she keeps looking at me like this. And when she was finished, she said, your work is very powerful. I want you to be in the Biennale. There's 2 countries. If they don't, by tomorrow at 6 o'clock, if they don't answer, I'm going to put you in. Evelina called me. Oh, she sent the invitation, she's done everything. But Evelina didn't get them. Didn't get no response. And she called me and she said, pero tu madre, blah blah blah, she keep cursing me why I did not answer. I said, but I never got. She said, but I sent you 5 invitations. You are selected. You have to send your work. Why you're not answering? And she said, no, I didn't get it. Evelina neither. And that's why I went for the Biennale in 96. And in 96, that same year, I was selected for the Biennale Cuba. I was selected for the Biennale in Johannesburg, the South Africa. And from South Africa, you have in Holland, you have Belgium. I went to Curacao, I went to Boca Raton. I was selected for the Biennale in it is Brazil, Trinidad, Curaçao, Venezuela, a lot of times, 4 or 5 times, and the last one was Maxul. That was one of my, I loved the work I did there, the first aid, primera auxilios, and that was powerful work. And it is based on, my work is also entwined with the community. I got a lot of students, teachers, or they were sitting down, and I was so tired of talking with students and art lovers, and I just said, ay, tengo sed, una cerveza Zulia.
For me, it's important now, and through this interview, talk about your most important art piece, and I call it the most important art piece because it was a social, artistic, and community integration in between you as leader of SINFA, St. Nicholas Foundation for the Art. So I think this is the most powerful artistic operation of Glenda Heyliger, a work in process, the longest one, I think.
Yeah.
And I want to people know more about that.
Yeah, because going to Curaçao, I with my ex-husband Ilke van der Werf, the architect, I got, and working with Colastica and working with you, we set up the Watamula together, the International Artist Workshop with Usaida, Renwick, Ryan. But you were my right and left hand, and front and back. We worked so good together. It gave us a big impact with the International Artist Workshops from Robert Loder, and I did also with Remy Jungerman. Worked in Soroa in Cuba and also in Trinidad, and Remy was also here by Alida Martinez as artist in residence. So we always worked together, but working with you, we form the St. Nicholas SINFA, St. Nicholas Art Foundation, and that was in 2001, I think, or 2002. But we had 2 years working on that. And it was SINFA. I wanted to do something for St. Nicholas, what has been neglected up to this day, still neglected. So I came back with my experience, and I said, I want to give St. Nicholas something back, make it grow, because of my father also. And I remember my father said, we come from abroad, we come from the other Caribbean islands, because my parents are from Saba, and don't ever make me pass shame in another country or island. And that stood by me. My father worked 46 years at the Lago refinery, outstanding, from the dump in the Lago. He became chief inspector of the Lago Fire Department, and also he gave classes at the Technische School in St. Nicholas to the young fire brigades. And with that, I wanted for my father not to pass shame. I kept that as a leading line, red line, to come back to Aruba, and especially St. Nicholas, and give St. Nicholas a gift. And I started up the SINFA and worked with SINFA. We did in 2-3 years. Mostly it was, normally art centers would have 3 or 4 happenings in 1 year. And what we did was 25. When we look at what we had the young SINFAs, we had all kind of things. It was art and community integrated. And that was for me very important, because museums always have like a elite-ish thing that, oh no, we are the artists and the community stays community. No, we have to bond. And St. Nicholas and Aruba has so much of talent. So we keep trying, we keep bringing ideas, where the community was felt like this is our second home. We can go there. And that is what you and I, we try to build and build and build until 2008 or 9, Minister of Culture decided to shut down.